Om Sahana Vavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karvavahe Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahe. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om. Namaskar. Welcome to Hinduism in Focus. Let us begin with a very short incident in a story form. There was a king. He called his servants and he said to one of them to go to the market and to bring him the best of meat. The servant went to the market and brought him a tongue. The next day the king called the servant again and said to him, go and bring him the worst meat from the market. The servant again went and brought him a tongue. So the king said, what is it? When I asked for the best meat, you brought me a tongue. And then when I asked for the worst of meat, you brought me again a tongue. What is it? Why? The servant said, O king, sometimes a man is very unhappy because of his tongue. And sometimes his tongue makes him very happy indeed. So the king agreed, you are right. So he said to the servant, let us be masters of our tongue. In other words, the writer of this story speaking to us, let us be master and controller of this tongue. The tongue is a dangerous part of the human body, to put it that way. So small and weak, it can crush and kill. In our world of high-tech, man can deploy a missile and by remote control bring it back to earth without causing any harm. But when sweet or harsh words come out of our mouth, they can never be retrieved. Sri Krishna Bhagavan says in the Uddhava Gita, part of what we call the Bhagavatam, Na tatha tapyate vidha puman banai sumarmagai yatha tudanti marmastha yasatam parushe shavaha. Arrows, when they penetrate the most vital parts of a person, do not cause him so much a wound as a person who utter harsh words, which rankle in our bosom forever. We are pierced with a gunshot wound or an arrow. We can heal after a time, but words rankle in our heart. When the tongue is quicker than the brain, we do not think before we speak. What happened? Friends become strangers. The past is reduced to memory, while the present turns into a bitter future, and it stings and bites us. The harshness that comes out of our mouth peels away the flesh of someone, or even worse, it all is caused by the tongue. The tongue, so small, is yet so powerful. It affects our lives in ways we may never have known before. All of us have had experiences of this. The tongue can be our best friend or our worst enemy. Harsh words cause lasting wound. The slippery tongue, so to speak, although we scrub it every morning, it needs another type of scrubbing. The slippery tongue can be a burden to those who do not know how to use it. It can be sweet like honey and bitter like poison. You can always heal a broken bone, a bruised knee, but never can you cure the heart that has been stabbed by your harsh tongue. A good word always heals a wounded heart. Unpleasant words are never forgotten. The Bhagavad Gita says, chapter 17, verse 15, Anurvega karam vakyam satyam priyahitam chayat swadhyaya bhyasanam chaiva vamayam tapa uchyati. What Bhagavan Krishna advises us? Words that cause no annoyance to others and are truthful, agreeable, and wholesome. These are known as austerity of speech. That is putting our tongue to the best use. Life and death are in the power of the tongue. How many murders have been caused by the tongue? Insult, cursing, speaking ill of others, leading to argument, stabbing, death. It has ruined many lives. The tongue has shaken many marriages and has driven nations to war with one another. It sows discord among brothers. It has driven wives and husbands out of the home and from each other far apart, and deprives them of their due reward and of good relationship with their family, the tongue. It separates parents from their children and children from their parents, the tongue. Those who wag their tongues in thoughtless haste will never know peace. The wrath of God will be upon them. The stroke of a whip will give you a wound, but the stroke of an unbridled tongue will break your heart. 1,000 may fall by the edge of a sword, but 10,000 by the edge of the tongue. Such is its power. The pain and death it inflicts are immeasurable. So a father said to his son, whenever you speak, what you are doing, remember what comes out of your mouth represents my family. When you go out there, know how you speak. You are representing me and my integrity, my self-respect, this entire family. Think before you talk. This father advises his son. Remember too, words can be food for thought, or it can be fuel for fire. So also another good advice is the Manusmriti. We must speak also when we are required to speak. It says, Na prishtha kasyachit bruyan nachan ya yena prichataha janan napihi medhavi jadavalloka acharet. Unless we are asked, we must not explain anything or push our mouth in the story, nor must one answer a person who asks improperly. Let a wise man, though he knows the answer, behave among men as if he's a fool, as an idiot. Stay quiet. There's a Chinese wisdom which says, he who speaks does not know. He who knows remains silent. Want to stay out of trouble? Watch what you say. Let us not look how we can do this right now. Let us look at the results of doing it first. When a bridle is placed on our mouth, good things begin to happen almost immediately. This is because people will respond to you differently. When you say cutting and hurting words to others, the result will always be trouble. When your words are spoken with grace, or kindness, the opposite effect will usually take place. In fact, sometimes just saying nothing at all can be a tremendous blessing. Listen to this, doggerel. If you your lips would keep from slips, 5 things observe with care of what you speak, to whom you speak, and how and when and where. A very wise man once said, "It is not what enters a person's mouth that degrades him, it is what comes out of it." We must strive as much as possible to use our tongues for good rather than for evil purposes. Every day we can use our tongue, that is our speech, to bring those around us much joy, encouragement, and happiness. Unfortunately, that same tongue can cause those same people hurt, pain, and unhappiness. The Mahabharata says, "Vatsalasya sarva bhutanam vachya shrotra sukha giraha parivada pavadaucha parushyam chatra gahitam." The Mahabharata Shanti Parva. Affectionate words, pleasing to the ears of all beings, must be spoken. On the other hand, reviling, scandal, and violence in language are forbidden. Insulting others, our ego, and hypocrisy are all condemned. Words of great advice indeed. If we could control our tongue, we could also control our lives in every way. The saying goes, we are like cats. We lick ourselves with our tongues. Remember, we are like cats. We lick ourselves with our tongues. When someone spreads gossip, mark that person carefully. Why? Because if they talk to you about somebody else, they will talk to somebody else about you. The good book warns us about these things: a hasty tongue, a flattering tongue, and a judgmental tongue. Remember, a hasty tongue, do not think before you speak. A flattering tongue, do not flatter, do not speak what you do not believe or think. A judgmental tongue, do not judge others. So therefore, we can have this control by asking God to give us the strength and the knowledge to be master of the tongue, one of our senses. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om.